Namaste. Welcome to our practice based around the element of fire. I've got my candles burning for inspiration here, and our elements, as you know, we're bringing the aspect into our practice. So I want you to think about what this element means to you. Fire it represents heat, it represents power, strength, consummation, digestion. Most of all, in the yoga traditions, it represents transformation. So I want you to really use it today. Yoga is transformative, and if you fire up your practice, then you can make changes happen, whether that's physical changes, emotional changes, energetic changes, or mental changes. You can make things feel different for yourself. So let's see what today brings up for all of you. So come to a seated position, and we're going to take a mudra. We're going to warm up our hands a little first before we take our mudra. So bring your hands out in front of you and turn one palm up, one palm down, doesn't matter which. And I want you to squeeze your hands in two fists and then flick the fingers out, about 10 times. Okay, so as though we're sparking up our hands, and then turn them over and do the same. Great for the joints, and also getting a little bit of circulation into those hands. Let's now bring the hands together, palms together, and rub them. Rub them nice and fast to create some friction. Feel that heat being generated between the hands. It's great if you ever got cold hands. Give them a good rub. And then feel that warmth. Just take them a little way apart. There might be a sort of sense of some magnetism, some force, repelling your hands from each other, and then take them to your belly. Okay, so think of bringing warmth into your solar plexus. This area, known as Manipura chakra in our energy center descriptions in yogic philosophy, is the seat of our inner fire. So in Sanskrit, the word Agni means fire, and the seat of our fire is situated in the navel. If you think about it, it's where our digestive system is. So it makes sense that that area is where all this transformation and digestion is going to happen. So our mudra today is Agni mudra. Each of the fingers represents an element, and the thumb represents fire. And we fire up the different elements by touching different fingers. So what are we going to do for thumbs? We're going to join them together. So link your fingers together, touch your two thumbs. Thumbs can stick up, and you can bring that to your belly. If that feels uncomfortable, an option is to wrap your thumb and forefinger around one thumb, leave it sticking up. This is actually a lingam mudra, but it's still got thumb to thumb. So if that's more comfortable, you can do that. And then in a comfortable seated position with your Agni mudra in front of your belly, allow your eyes to either close or soft gaze downwards. And let's think about that element of fire. Bring in the Ujjayi breath when you're able to. Nice, deep, slow breaths. Let that belly swell on the inhale. And relax back on the exhale. So draw it into the spine a little on the exhale. And imagine this is like bellows. Your tummy is slowly fanning the flame within you. And in today's practice, I want you to work hard. That doesn't mean that you have to take all of the physical variations that I offer. Okay, it can be a really strong practice, a fire practice, but it doesn't have to be in order for you to feel that transformation. It could be really energetically and mentally strong for you. It doesn't mean that you have to be in full plank pose all the time. I want you to feel some heat in your body, and I trust you completely to take the right options for you in order to do that today. So we're going to start by firing up the breath. Okay, breath warms when it comes into our body. It's warmer when it comes out. So release that mudra and have the hands somewhere comfortable. You can have them on the belly if that helps you in a minute. And we're going to take breath of fire. So some of you have done this or similar to this before. It's when we breathe out sharply, strongly through the nose. And we don't worry about the inhale. The inhale comes in because it has to, ready to breathe out sharply again. And it happens quite quickly. We're going to do 10 breaths at a time. So you've got time in between to think, is this right for me? Do I want to rest, or am I okay to continue? If you've got any issues with high blood pressure or breathing difficulty, headaches, it might not be the right thing for you today, but 10 breaths is not going to hurt anyone. So see how you go and then decide whether you want to continue with it. And we do a little preparatory inhale, exhale before and after the practice. So it will go something like this. It's quite a fast rhythm. And as I'm breathing out, I'm really drawing the belly back towards the spine. And it swells as I do a natural inhale, a nice quick inhale, ready for that pump again. So think of a pair of bellows. You're pumping your tummy to bring in this breath of fire. You can do this with your eyes closed if you want to. So hands relaxed, keep those shoulders relaxed if you can. Hands can be on the tummy if that helps. Take a nice deep breath in and out to prepare for the practice of pranayama, our breathing control. And then inhale, and off we go for 10 belly pumps, sharp exhales. Exhale out. Nice big inhale in. And release the breath. Breathe naturally for a moment. You can keep your eyes closed if that's okay for you. And notice any change, any energetic change in the body, maybe a little lightheadedness. Okay, taking breath in fast and pumping that belly. If it's okay for you, we're going to do 2 more rounds. You rest and breathe with your Ujjayi breath if you prefer. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in and off we go for 10. Big exhale out, fully emptying the belly, and then inhale. Draw up the breath. You might hold it for a moment at the top there, and then our breath to release. Again, sit in stillness. Come inside and notice what this breath, this breathing practice does. We're static, but our energy is whizzing around. One more time. This time, throw anything into your internal fire that you want to work with today. Any challenges, obstacles. There'll be another chance to do that in a bit. Inhale in. Exhale out. Breathe in and off we go. And big exhale out. Inhale in. Relax the hands, our breath out. Sit in your internal fire a moment. So think about that Agni in your navel, behind the navel, burning through. Okay, whatever doesn't serve you, brilliant time to throw it on your internal fire. We're going to fan that fire with our physical practice now. So come onto hands and knees. If your wrists don't want to take any weight, all of the options where we're on our hands today can be done on forearms. So coming down to forearms if you prefer. Nice long length in the body. And we're going to take cat-cow to start with. So on an exhale, round the back, drop the head. On an inhale, dipping the tummy down, lifting the head up. Exhale, rounding the spine, cat stretch. Inhale, dipping the pelvis forward, lifting the heart, lifting the head. Couple more in your own rate. Use the breath. So try and use the Ujjayi breath as much as possible today. Nice, deep, slow, controlled breaths. And then we're going to fire up the navel center a little more by taking our cat-cow into belly circles. So you're going to the side, dropping the belly down to the other side, up. Nice big circles around. And then taking it the other way, thinking all the time about our solar plexus, the seat of our Agni, our inner power comes from this place. And bringing that to stillness. So nice long back, we're going to take tiger curls. So this starts waking up the core. We're igniting the core muscles. Take your right foot back behind you, hip height, and point the toes down. Stretch through the back heel and the crown of your head. Inhale there. Exhale, bring the knee under the chest. Look towards it, so let the back round. Twice more. So this can be on forearms, remember. Inhale, stretching the leg out behind you. Exhale, drawing the knee forward, looking towards it. Should feel something happening in the belly and the sides of the waist, around the lower back and the thighs. That's the area, our core, that we want to work. Good. Then bring that knee down to the floor and we'll do the other side. Inhale and lengthen that foot behind you, stretching through the heel and the crown of the head. Exhale, draw everything up into the center as you bring the knee forward and look towards it. If you're not feeling the core firing up yet, imagine you've got a corset around you. On those exhales, you're tightening the corset. Okay, and this is going around your hips as well. So the glutes, the buttocks get a little bit engaged, the sides of the body, and up the back. So bring that knee down, release and relax. Don't worry, there's plenty more to come. You will feel your core by the end of this lesson. Let's tuck the toes and walk yourself into a forward fold. Feet together is going to be harder work for any of our standing postures today. Feet hip width apart is nice and balanced. So you choose what is right for you. Knees can stay soft. Let the head dangle down. If you know that's not good for you, you can keep the hands on the thighs and keep the head a lot more upright for any of our forward bending options today. So we're going to press down into the feet, deeply bend the knees, and lift yourself up halfway. Okay, you can take the hands out to the side or you can bring them forward. And then I want you to lift the heart up. And let's bring the hands forward and see how this is. Imagine you're sitting back on a chair, so you're coming into chair pose. After a couple of breaths, your thighs might feel strong, they might feel some fire. You can bring your hands onto your thighs or onto your hips, I don't mind. Now, one more exhale here. Press down into the feet and rise up all the way to standing. Lift your arms into the air and bring the hands down to the heart. Okay, that gave you a little taster of chair pose. Chair is called Utkatasana in Sanskrit. It means fierce pose. It is meant to be hard work, but there are options and variations to make it doable. So we're going to take a couple of breaths in our chair pose, staying in it now. I want you to see how it feels to lift the arms up and have the upper arms next to the ears. Big breath in there. And then pressing into the feet, bend the knees and sit back. Okay. If your back feels like it's massively arching, I would much rather you had the hands forward. So lengthen that tailbone down. And although there will be a little flexion in the back, I don't want it to be uncomfortable. That's not what this posture is about. It's about getting the thighs working. And you have the option to have the arms up, forward, or on your hips or thighs. Inhale and exhale, sit a bit lower. So that chair has just shrunk and moved down. Think about where your weight is in the ball of your feet, in the heels of your feet. Can you even it out a little more? And then we're going to come out, press down into the feet, rise up and bring the hands to the heart. We will be coming back to chair pose. Let's warm ourselves up now. Bring a little physical heat into the body with a half sun salutation. Inhale, the arms float up. You can either look up or look straight ahead. Exhale, you have a choice. Hands can come down the center or they can float out to the side as you swan dive down. You're coming all the way down into a forward fold. Let the head hang down unless you're staying higher up. And then bring the hands onto the shins. On an inhale, lengthen the spine and lift yourself halfway. So heart and head parallel with the ground. See what you can do to straighten the legs. Keep a micro bend in the knees. And then on the exhale, you bow forwards, seeing if you can lift the hips, drawing the chest and the head downwards. Let the hands come down towards the floor. So you might now be feeling a stretch along the back of the hamstrings, along the back. Then bend the knees, press down into the feet, and you're rooting down, using that strength in the feet and the legs to rise up. You can roll up, or you can take your hands out to the side like wings, press down through the legs, and rise up with a flatter back. Okay, so you work out what is best for you. We're going to speed that up. We're going to do it a few times. Let's see if we can fire up your system. Inhale, lift your arms over the head. Exhale, fold it forward. Let the knees be soft. That's what your back demands. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the shins. And exhale, bow it down. Your fullest forward fold for the moment. Press down into the feet, lift up. Use those power of the legs to lift yourself up. And exhale, hands back to the heart. And again, inhale, rise it up. Enjoy flowing through these postures. Exhale, bow it down. You've got lots of options. Make it your own. Inhale, half forward lift. Maybe the fingertips are now staying on the floor or lifting to the shins. Exhale, bow it down. Opportunity to draw the chest and head downwards. Inhale, rise up in your own way. Exhale, coming back to the starting position. Twice more. If you want to have a rest this round, you can. Exhaling down, either bowing down or swan diving down, halfway lift. Nice straight spine, length through the crown of the head and the sit bones. Exhale into your fullest forward fold expression. Inhale, rise it up. Don't let the back take the strain on that lift up. Exhale, back to the heart. This is your last time. Inhale, lift up. Looking up if your neck is okay. Exhale, swooping down, touching the ground. And then the inhale, your legs straighten. Your choice whether they're going to stay straight as you exhale and bow down, but then bend them before you start to press into your feet and rise up. That way we keep the back nice and safe. The legs are doing the work. You bring your hands back to your heart and then down. Come into mountain pose for a moment. Roll the shoulders back, palms face forward, and notice if there's any heat coming into the body, getting that circulation pumping around. Okay, it's totally up to you. You're in control of this fire. So from now on, you decide when you need to cool it down, douse it a little, or you want to keep building it. Okay, there'll be plenty of opportunity to do that. Okay, taking chair pose again. Your choice whether you want to have the feet together or wider apart, and whether you want to have a physical chair behind you or you can come to kneeling. Okay, we're going to do a twisted chair pose this time. Perfectly acceptable to do this twist in kneeling or seated position as an option. So inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, sit down on your chair. Decide whether the arms are staying up, coming forwards, or coming to hips or thighs. And breathe there. Now take a little look at your knees. I want those knees to stay level with each other. They won't want to, I promise. Mine always move. Inhale and bring your hands to your heart. So our Anjali Mudra. I'm going to try and keep it there as we exhale to the right. Take your left elbow towards the right knee. Okay, so it might point vaguely in the direction. It might come to the outside of the knee, even the outside of the thigh. And then press your palms together. Okay, if this twist is painful, then come out of it. You can do a tiny, much less of a twist. Maybe that left elbow to the left knee instead. If this feels good, every inhale, you're lengthening from your sit bones up through the crown of your head. If you want to increase the intensity, you crazy things, you can tent your fingers to create a fireball in the middle of your hands. And you might feel some intensity across the front of your chest. It fires up the pec muscles. That top elbow is pointing to the sky. Hands are pushing into each other. One more breath. How are those knees? Are they staying level? As that left one snuck forward? And then come out of the twist, face forwards, press down into the feet, lift the arms up, and bring them down by your sides. And notice, just take a moment to notice what came up during that, okay? There might be thoughts, emotions. You might never speak to me again after this practice. I want you to work through some stuff today. So throw it all into the fire, your inner fire. Take a moment to think about any challenges, any obstacles in your life. Bring them into the practice, okay? We're going to burn through them. It's about transformation today. So let's do the other side. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, hips back and down. Come into your chair pose, or you could be kneeling or seated. Let's take the hands to the heart. Nice big inhale there. Keep a long spine. As you exhale, this time the right elbow points towards the right knee. Nice sneaky knees. Let's try and keep them together. Keep them level. As we breathe here, it might be tighter on one side than the other. Can you press the palms together? Can you feel into your twist? Use the exhale to turn the body maybe a little more. Try tenting the fingers to intensify the practice. You can always bring it back to one of the other options. Okay, think of that fire in your thighs, fire in the belly. Breathe into it. Use that Ujjayi breath. It's a warming breath. And then come out, straighten yourself up. And this time you can fold forwards. You don't have to come up. Let's fold forwards into a nice, gentle, soft forward bend. And bring ourselves down onto the floor. Coming down to kneeling. Your choice if you want to go back into child pose for a few breaths, or you might want to lift into downward facing dog, pedal out the feet. Wherever you are, take some nice big sighs out through the mouth. Release some of that fire. And then we're all going to find some form of plank pose. Okay, there's no need for this to take its toll on the wrists. So let's everyone start from kneeling, and we'll explore some options. So you could do a forearm plank. Bring your forearms to the ground, and you can either keep them parallel to each other, palms forward, or you can interlink the fingers. I always tuck the bottom little finger in so that you're pressing on the side of your hands, not squishing that little finger. Okay, and with your knees down, this would be a forearm half plank or a half forearm plank. And you could always take one foot back and practice lifting a knee off the ground, and then another, lifting the knee off the ground. You've got to press into those forearms and fire up that belly. That's one option. Or come back to kneeling. If you want to try out these others quickly before we do the plank pose, you can walk the hands forward and you bring your shoulders over the wrists, okay? Hardly taking any weight on your knees. Engage the core muscles, no cheating. Fire up that belly and press into your hands. This is a half plank pose. Or we can do our full plank. So you can do one of those other options for a moment. Otherwise, let's have a go at full plank. We'll do it one foot at a time. So from your kneeling position, hands are a little forward. You take your right foot back, tuck the toes under, press into the toes and the hands, shoulders are over hands, and try and lift the other knee off the floor and come back to the ground. Try it on the other side. So left leg stretches back, press into hands and the back toes, lift yourself off. And then if you want to try it, both legs back, you are in a straight line, head, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. You'll know by now if that's not right for you, you've got those all of those other options to try. Okay, forearm plank, half plank. Okay, we're going to work in that now. So either starting from kneeling with your hands a little forward, you can stay here, or you can come into downward facing dog. Going to inhale, exhale as you are. And then on an inhale, bring your weight forward. So taking the weight either on your forearms or down into your palms and wrists, pressing the floor away from you in your plank. If you want to drop the knees after a breath, absolutely fine, but feel those core muscles still working. Push yourself away. Can you get in a straight line as best you can, whichever option you're taking? Nice big breath. One more breath if you can. And then slowly lower yourself down. Don't collapse. Bend the elbows back if you're in plank. Let the knees find the floor. Lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Belly on the floor. Take a sway of the hips. And you can bring your hands under your head if you want to. Crocodile pose. Release, let it go for a moment. Opportunity to revisit plank later in the class. So any of those options, go. And then we're going to lift either into cobra or sphinx. So again, your choice. You bring your forearms forward or hands are under shoulders. On the inhale, you lift the heart, draw the shoulder blades down the back, look forward and ahead. Exhale, release it down. Let the belly stretch out, okay? This is opening out the belly after our core work. So enjoy lifting the front body up. Keep those glutes a little bit engaged. Work the thighs, all of those core muscles to keep the lower back relaxed. Couple more times. And the neck stays in the same curve as the spine. Don't have to crank the head back. One more time, lifting up. And this time pushing back. Come to kneeling. And I want to give you 3 options again for the next posture. We're going to take our tiger curls, where we bring the knee underneath like we did before. So you can do exactly the same from this tabletop kneeling position, or you could do it from downward dog, where we do three-legged dog and extend the leg back, bring it forward. Or today, you have a new option of dolphin. So if you want to work really strongly, but you don't want that weight going into your wrists, this might be for you. You come down to your forearms, and again, Sphinx type arms, or you can link the fingers together. So if you haven't done dolphin before, maybe give this a try. You will soon work out whether you like it or not. It is strong. Press down into your forearms, tuck the toes, and lift your hips. So it's like down dog, but you're on your forearms instead of your wrists. And then to intensify, bring up that heat, turn it up. You walk your feet towards your hands. So you come into a tighter form of down dog. And that might be generating quite a lot of heat, fire in the body. Okay, everybody come back to kneeling. By now, you probably have decided whether you want to give that a go with the tiger curls, or you're going to take one of the other options, okay? Kneeling or down dog. I'm going to do down dog on this first side. So, tuck the toes and lift into down dog, or you stay on all fours. You're going to lift the right foot up and back, making sure toes are pointing down to the ground. So you might rotate that thigh a little. And on the exhale, draw the knee forwards, look towards it, let the back round. If you're in dolphin, this is strong work. Bring it back again. This time, let's see if you can point that right knee towards your right elbow. So it's going to the outside of the right elbow. Take it back. Nice length through that leg, length in the body. Final time, it can go to the opposite elbow. Right knee towards that left elbow, really strong. And take it up. Exhale, and you're going to bring it all the way through to a lunge. Don't worry if it doesn't get there, help it forward. You can be in low lunge or high up in a runner's lunge, I don't mind. We're going to take a twist here, so you need to be comfortable. If you're up higher, it's going to be a little stronger and challenging on your balance. Might need a block or want a block under your left hand. That's going to stay on the floor. Right hand is going to come to the hip. Length through the spine, pressing down through that front foot. Want the right knee to stay over the right ankle. Inhale, length, length, length. Exhale, turn towards the bent knee. And again, you control this twist, so you can stay there. You can choose to lift the top hand. If that top shoulder is stacked over the bottom shoulder, you can reach through the top fingers. If that twist feels too intense, then you're facing more down to the floor than to the side. Your choice to have the back knee lifted or on the floor. Breathe in to the fire. So you're reaching either the fingertips up like flames, or that top elbow is shooting out like a flame. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame the foot and step it back. Down dog, or your choice. You can come immediately to kneeling and child pose for a few breaths. If you're in downward facing dog, make it count. You can wiggle the hips, you can walk out the legs, you can bend the knees and find length in the spine. Take some nice sighs wherever you are. Really helps soothe that inner fire. So all fires are built up and then they die down a bit, and all the time it's your choice how much you stoke it up, how much you increase the flames, the heat, how much transformation you want, how much you're ready for, how much you want in your physical body, or whether you're doing the work energetically and emotionally. Okay, we've got the other side to do. So you choose from Kneeling, you can come into dolphin pose. I'm going to give that a go just for demonstration purposes on this side. You can be in downward facing dog or tabletop kneeling. And when you're ready, we're going to lift the left foot up behind you. Inhale there. Exhale, draw the knee underneath, look towards it. Inhale, take that foot up and back. Nice length in the body on the inhale. Exhale, take it to the outside of the left elbow. Inhale, back we go. Exhale across the body, drawing everything in. Now you know where your core is. And one line, last long extension, and swing that knee forward. I can't do that from dolphin. Come into your version of lunge. Settle, whether you're going to have the knee lifted or down on the floor. If you want to, taking a block under your hand. This time your right hand is going to stay on the floor and your left hand comes to the hip. Inhale, find length, long length in the body, and keep that length as you twist. So you're turning towards the bent knee, finding your resistance. Don't go further. And if you wish, lifting the top arm up. And breathing into this posture, what it conjures up to you, whether those flames are leaping up high, whether they're coming out of your elbow, out of your ears. Where is that fire burning? It's all coming from your belly. Good. Breathing in, finishing, breathing out. Hands down either side of your foot, step it back. You can come to kneeling, you can come to child pose, or you can flow through a little plank, vinyasa, a little sequence. So if you're in downward facing dog or kneeling, you can bring your weight forward and either staying in full plank or dropping the knees down, but keeping that engagement of core muscles. Take a couple of breaths. Okay, you can totally cheat here. You can, bring the knees down and release. I can hang out here, but it's very different when everything is engaged. If you want to increase it a little bit, imagine you're drawing the feet and hands, or hands and knees, towards each other, and feel what that does to the muscles. And then everybody, release down and come onto your bellies. So if you're in child pose, come forwards. If you're in plank, lower yourself down. Again, if it feels nice, rock the hips. Let the belly find the floor and soften. You're welcome to stay here and breathe, or we're going to use locust pose this time to open up the front of the body. So hands under the forehead. And on an inhale, I want you to lift the feet up. So hips stay on the ground and then bring them down again. Now, if you're massively clenching your buttocks for dear life doing this, I want you to see if you can soften them a little. So there's a bit of engagement, but not clenched tight buttocks, please. Let's try that again. So lifting up and lowering down. This time, keep the feet on the ground. Take your hands back behind you. Link the fingers behind the hips. Okay, and we're just going to do the top half of the body. So on the inhale, lift yourself up, lift the heart up. It can be fractionally off the mat, doesn't matter. And reach back through the knuckles and then exhale down. So you choose how intense this is. It can be nice and soft and gentle. You'll be trying to lift as high as you can. Notice what those buttocks are doing though. And then you can rest. You can give that a go alternatively, legs and torso, or you can try and lift together, legs and torso, up on the inhale, down on the exhale. Keep working dynamically or stay for 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale, keep breathing. It's easy to come into these sorts of postures. Hold your breath until you're allowed out. Keep the breath going and then release, 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 release. And either a little sway of the hips, or you might choose to slowly and gently bring yourself all the way back to child. Okay, your choice. Decide how you're working, how's that heat going in the body. We want a bit of heat, but we don't want anyone self-combusting. And then we're going to come together in tabletop, so somewhere in the middle of our postures, ready for a side plank, okay? Also can be done on the forearms. So from our tabletop position, I want you to take your right foot back and you're staying on your left knee. You're either staying on your left hand and pushing down into it, or your left forearm. And as best you can, I want you in a straight line. So hand or elbow, knee and foot in a straight line. Okay, you can have your top hand on your hip and stay there, or you can see how it feels to lift the hand up. Okay, to fire up the core, press into the back foot and see if you can lift that knee off of the floor. Just a tiny bit will do it. Good. And then bring the hand down again. I'm going to do that again, or you can do a full plank. If you want to do full plank, both legs stretch back. You drop the heels to the left, and then you come to your side. So if you change your mind, you drop that bottom knee down. Give it a go. As long as you're firing up that core, I don't mind which of these options you take. Coming back down, return to the center. So you're in tabletop pose, either on forearms or hands. And then we've got to do it the other side. So let's take the left foot back. Set yourself up in a half version of this side plank first of all. Everything's in a line, whether it's forearm or hand. Top hand can start on the hip, can stay there, and you can really work on drawing the core muscles in. We can lift the hand up if it feels good. You get that lovely shoulder stretch. And then bring it down again. Either repeat exactly the same, or you step both toes back. Heels drop to the right. Pressing into the feet and into the hands. Your choice, whether that top hand lifts up, okay? Core muscles keep you balanced here. Well done, everyone. Good. And then come back to the floor. Knees down. Sit back on your heels. Swing your feet around to the front. Haven't quite finished with you yet. My favorite posture for firing up the core muscles and seeing if they're really working and feeling them work is boat pose. So again, some of you will have done this with me before and know there are lots of variations, and we're going to build up. I'll show you what boat pose is, and then I'll talk you through. So boat pose is one where we balance on our sitting bones. If you don't want to take weight onto your coccyx, if you've got any tailbone issues, lower back issues, and you think, no, that's not for me, you can do it either on forearms or even laying down, okay? And you can take your feet up and do all the sorts of things we're doing. So I want you to have a little go at balancing first of all and see what's right for you. Have the hands or the forearms on the floor next to your hips. So either like this or like this. And lift the heart and lengthen the spine. Okay, keep the breath going as you tilt yourself back to rock onto your sit bones, just to get a feel of it. And you might feel, I need to engage tummy and side muscles to keep myself there. So rock out of it. So now it's your choice. You can lay on the floor or lay back on the forearms if that will suit you better. You can keep your hands on the floor like we've just done, or you could maybe hold on to the backs of the thighs this time. So we're going to come into a balance. Inhale, always lift the heart. This is important. Exhale, rock back. See how that feels in the body. Good. Maybe you lift the shins so that they're parallel with the floor. Maybe that fires up a little more heat, and then rock out of it. Good. So what we don't want to do is come into a balance and be really rounded, trying to hold it there. You want to lift the heart and keep that length in the spine. Then the work has to go on around the hips and tummy. So a couple more options to try. You can do exactly what we've done before, or rock back onto your sit bones. Either lift the feet so that the shins are parallel, or don't. And maybe you can let go this time. Notice if your back rounds when you do that. Make an effort to lift the heart forward. Now you're probably feeling your tummy muscles. If you want to, take the feet out, away from you, and press through the balls of the feet. Flex the feet, but point through the balls of your feet. It's called flointing, mixture between flexing and pointing. I've got a little shake going on in my legs. My belly is on fire. My thighs are on fire. Feels fantastic. And then release. Let yourself come forward. And we're going to come down onto the ground for a little massage. Roll yourself back. Draw the knees over the chest and rock from side to side. Okay. You're going to know about these core muscles tomorrow if they're not normally part of your yoga practice. Good stuff. And then I want you to roll over onto one side, gently sit yourself up. One way to really fire up the digestive system is twists. So we're going to take our half Lord of the Fishes seated twist. Starting from Dandasana, our staff pose with our legs out in front of us. You can always sit up on a seat. If your legs don't like being straight out, bring yourself up a little higher onto a cushion, a block. And then see if you can follow me with my left and right through this pose. So first of all, we're going to take your right foot, bend your right knee, lift your right foot to the outside of your left knee. Your left toes stay pointing up to the ceiling, and that's important because that engages the leg muscles. Pressing down into your sit bones, you can link your fingers around the front shin, draw yourself up, and we're trying to keep length in the spine because we're going to do a twist. And then inhale, lift your left hand up and wrap it around the front of your right leg, turning a little to your side. Take your right hand and place it down beside your right hip. And lengthen up through the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale, see if you can turn the tummy towards that bent leg. And maybe the chest, the shoulders, and the head follow. So you're looking back over your right shoulder. Lift up again. Inhale, unwind a little bit. Find that length. And exhale into the twist. Okay, so your left arm might be wrapped all the way around the leg. You might have your hand on the shin. You might be almost facing forward. I don't mind as long as you're getting a little bit of work into the belly. One more breath here before you unwind, facing the front. Take the leg out, straight, and give it a shake. Gorgeous. Let's do the twist on the other side. Just notice if you feel a bit lopsided. So you're taking your left foot over the outside of your right leg, linking the fingers, drawing yourself up nice and tall. Trying to keep that length in the side waist. Inhale, lengthen up through that right arm. Keep that length as you wrap it as best you can around. So the elbow might be around the knee, or you might have the hand resting on the front of the shin. The left hand comes behind the hip to support you, but not to slump into. And then you start the work in the posture. So inhale, lengthen up through the spine. and exhale into the twist. And make it gentle, progression. Inhale, you can unwind a little to find more length between each vertebra, and then turning, spiraling up the spine. So the head is the last thing to turn. Couple more breaths, however you're working. Are those right toes still flexed, pointing up to the ceiling? Really good. Unwind to the front. Shake out the legs. You'll be glad to know we're coming down to the floor. We're nearly there, everyone. Gather any props you might want for relaxation in a minute. Have a blanket to put under your head or to cover you. Any extra layers, if you want them. You'll soon get colder as we come towards stillness. We've got one more posture. We're going to stretch our belly out in bridge. So feet up close to the hips, knees are bent, pointing up towards the ceiling, palms face down beside the hips. And you want to press down into the feet, lift the hips off the floor and roll up the spine. Lifting the hips, lifting the chest at the top of the inhale, and then exhale, using the core muscles to control the descent as you roll back down. Nice and slowly, hips settle last on the floor. And keep going like that. You can keep working dynamically up and down. Or the next time you lift up into the sky, you can stay there. So if you choose, on the top of your inhale, you wiggle your shoulder blades closer together. You might link your hands underneath the hips. And each inhale, you see if you can lift the hips a little higher. Each exhale, you soften down, but not all the way to the floor. Couple more breaths. However you're working, whether you're rolling up and down or staying in your bridge pose. Feel this opening along the front of the body, stretching out the tummy. And then if hands are under the hips, release them down. Make this last descent really nice and slow and controlled. Seeing if you can let the hips be the last thing to land, and then let everything soften down into your mat, and prepare yourself for relaxation. So you can choose whether to have the legs out long in Shavasana, whether you want to keep the knees bent. How does that lower back feel? You can snuggle yourself up, or you can allow yourself to cool down. You will get cooler, so just be ready for that. And when you get settled, make sure the neck and the shoulders are comfy. Maybe turn the palms up to face the sky. Allow the eyes to close and come into softness. Bring your attention to sensations in the body. Notice any remaining heat as it cools down. Notice any feelings of vitality, maybe a tingling or a fizzing feeling. Notice the parts of your body that have worked physically hard, any muscles that feel warm or feel tired. And then any energetic feelings, letting that prana that's whizzing around the body, letting that settle a little. And I want you to visualize yourself like the glowing embers of a fire now. So perhaps seeing the colors orange and red and yellow, because every fire dies down, it burns itself out. And as it burns, it changes form. A log, if it's put onto the fire, will break apart. It will crumble and it will soften down into ash. I want you to allow this feeling of softening with the remaining heat radiating out through your body, allowing those muscles to relax, crumbling down, releasing energy. Just like a farmer burns stubble off after a crop, burning away what is no longer needed. That's what you did in your yoga practice. Burnt through things, purifying, cleansing, and leaving you now as this kind of fertile soil, ready to start anew, afresh. That's the state that you're in now. It allows us to burn down to our true nature, purifying everything down to its core parts, establishing this fertile landscape that we can build on. And when we take our inspiration from the elements, we always need to moderate how much we're using them. So if we were always to do a fiery hot practice, then we're going to burn out. And if we don't have any fire in our practice or in our life, then we'll begin to stagnate. We'll start things and not finish them. We'll procrastinate. So we need this balance. It's important to recognize when you need to call on a little more fire or whether you need to douse it down. So the heat of the practice is now being balanced by the coolness, stillness of relaxation. Breathe into that as you visualize the embers cooling and crumbling, transforming into ashes, making way for rebirth. So letting go of that image now, wiggling fingers and toes a little. Maybe having a stretch or hugging the knees, whatever feels good for you. Make your way slowly onto your right hand side and rest there with your knees bent, maybe a hand cradling your head. Pausing there, thinking about how you're going to rise up in a moment like a phoenix rising out of the ashes, out of those flames. Use your hands, press down into the earth and come back to a seated posture. Rising up in your new yoga body. I'm going to bring the hands to the heart. I'm going to make the shape of a flame by inhaling, taking the arms out and up. Palms come together, think of a candle flame, and then bring the palms down back to your heart space. One more time, if you wish, you can do an Om Shanti 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 2. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take a big bow to yourself, to the heat that you created and then dissipated in your practice. May you know when it's appropriate to bring some fire into your life, and may you always come back into balance. Namaste, everybody.